Good evening and welcome to Millennium Stage. Please welcome Jesse and Kevin.
As down the Glen one Easter morn to a city fair rode I, there armed lines of marching men in squadrons passed me by. No pipe did hum, no battle drum did sound its loud tattoo, but the Angelus bell o'er the Liffey swells rang out in the foggy dew. Right proudly high over Dublin town they hung out the flag of war. 'Twas better to die 'neath an Irish sky than at Suvla or Sudelbar. And from the plains of Royal Meath strong men came hurrying through, while Britannia's Huns with their long-range guns sailed in through the foggy dew. 'Twas England bade our wild geese go, that small nations might be free. But their lonely graves are by Suvla's waves, or the shore of the great North Sea. But had they died by Pierce's side, or fought with Calbrew, their graves we would keep where the Fenians sleep, 'neath the shroud of the foggy dew. But the bravest fell, and the requiem bell rang mournfully and clear, for those who died that Easter tide in the springtime of the year. And the world did gaze with deep amaze at those fearless men, but few, who bore the fight that freedom's light might shine in the foggy dew. As back through the glen I rode again, my heart with grief was sore, for I parted then with valiant men whom I never shall see them more. And to and fro in my dreams I'll go, and I kneel and I pray for you, for slavery fled, oh thou glorious death, when you fell in the foggy dew. Thank you so much, folks. It's wonderful to see so many new faces here, as well as some familiar faces. We are Jesse and Kevin, and we kicked off there at the beginning with a great ballad from the Easter Uprising, the 1916 Easter Uprising in Ireland. That song is called The Foggy Dew, and it laments not only the deaths of the young men that died in that rebellion against British rule, but also the young men that died on the battlefields of World War I, fighting for the very same empire from which they were trying to become independent back home. So there's the irony of that piece. And then we launched into some instrumental slip jigs on the uilleann pipes. That first set of pipes you saw there is the Irish bagpipes. And now we're going to go over to Scotland and hear a little bit of music on the Scottish small pipes from Mr. Jesse Ofgang. right. Thanks, folks. That was the classic pairing or trio of tune types in the Scottish bagpiping tradition is march, strathspey, and reel. So what you heard there were those three types of tunes: a march, a strathspey, and a reel. I promise Jesse does actually talk. It's just that he's switching between so many different instruments that I figured I'd fill those moments with some idle chit chat.
I wish I had a horn like Harpo right now to honk. My
All right.
instruments keep getting smaller as we go through the set, from the uilleann pipes to the small pipes to the penny whistle.
The penny whistle. All right, we're going to go back to Ireland with a classic song that I think some of you will probably know. And the chorus is let's see, let me get the right key. There it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hunt the hare and turn her down the rocky road, all the way to Dublin, Wack-Fallow-de-Ra. All right, everyone got it? Great, awesome.
We gotta finish by 7, so it's real quick. We hope you're quick learners.
1, 2, 3. In the merry month of June, come me home I started, left the girls of two. I'm nearly broken-hearted, saluted father dear, kissed me darling mother, drank a pint of beer, me grief and tears to smother, then off to reap the corn, leave where I was born, cut a stout blackthorn to banish ghosts and goblins, bought a pair of brogues, frightening all the dogs, rattling all the bogs on the rocky road to Dublin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hunt the hare and turn her down the rocky road, all the way to Dublin, Wack-Fallow-de-Ra. In Mullingar next night I rested, limbs so weary, started by daylight next morning bright and early, took a drop of the pure to keep me heart from sinking. That's the paddy's cure whene'er he's on to drinking. See the lassie smile at me curious style, laughing all the while, 'twould set your heart a-bubble, and ask me was I hired or wages I required, till I was almost tired of the rocky road to Dublin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hunt the hare and turn her down the rocky road, all the way to Dublin, Wack-Fallow-de-Ra. In Dublin next to ride, I thought it was a pity to be so soon deprived of view of that fine city. Then I took a stroll, all among the quality bundle. It was stole all in a neat locality. When I looked behind, something crossed me mind. No bundle could I find upon me stick. A wobbling inquiring after the road said me Connacht brogue wasn't much in vogue on the rocky road to Dublin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hunt the hare and turn her down the rocky road, all the way to Dublin, Wack-Fallow-de-Ra. 1, 2, 3, 4. From there I got away, me spirits never failing, landed on the quay just as the ship was sailing. The captain at me roared, said that no room had he. When I jumped aboard, a cabin found for Paddy. There among the pigs, played some hearty rigs, danced some hearty jigs, the water round me bobbling. When up Holyhead, wished myself were dead, or better far instead, on the rocky road to Dublin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hunt the hare and turn her down the rocky road, all the way to Dublin, Wack-Fallow-de-Ra. The boys of Liverpool, when we safely landed, called meself a fool. I could no longer stand it, me blood began to boil. Temper I was losing, poor old Erin's Isle they began abusing. Hooray, me soul, says I, me shillelagh I'll apply. Galway boys were nigh, and so I was a hobbling with a loud hooray. Jumped into the affray, quickly cleared the way for the rocky road to Dublin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hunt the hare and turn her down the rocky road, all the way to Dublin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hunt the hare and turn her down the rocky road, all the way to Dublin, Wack-Fallow-de-Ra. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the rocky road to Dublin.
Let's hear it for All Ireland, the 2019 All Ireland men's singing champion, Kevin Elam.
Thank you, folks.
All right, so Kevin's got to do a switch of instruments now, and he told me I have to fill in this time with talking, so brace yourselves. You're going to learn a lot about bagpipes in 2 minutes. So I've got a couple of types of sets of bagpipes up here because you all asked. Like Kevin said, the first pipes I were playing were the uilleann pipes, and uilleann in Irish means elbow. So because I'm pumping them with bellows and not blowing into them, really the literal translation is the elbow pipes. And then I shifted over to kind of a hybrid, but I'm playing a Scottish small pipe chanter. And don't worry, I know you all came for the great highland pipes. Those will be at the end of the set. We play those right before everybody leaves. So when we generically say bagpipes over in the U.S. and many places in the world, we're referring to the great highland bagpipes, which are the national instrument of Scotland, but many people don't realize that there's so many countries with their own type of bagpipes. There's bagpipes in Poland, there's bagpipes in Italy, in Spain, Iran has their own bagpipes. Essentially, it's just a family of instruments, and anything where you have some kind of bag, and the commonality is a bag and a pipe. And
imagine that.
Yeah, much like the name of our duo, it's Jesse
and Kevin. I wasn't paying attention, sorry. All right, I think we're ready to launch into the next one. This is a song that was probably written by an Irish immigrant to America in the 1860s or 70s. We don't know exactly when, but he's wandering through the Southlands and he falls in love with a Creole girl, and we'll see what happens. It was on a bright March morning I bid New Orleans adieu, and I took the road to Jackson Town, my fortunes there to renew. I cursed all foreign money, no credit could I gain, which filled me heart with longing for the lakes of Pontchartrain. And I stepped on board a railroad car beneath the morning sun, and I rode those roads till evening and set me down again. All strangers there, no friends to me, till a dark girl towards me came, and I fell in love with the Creole girl by the lakes of Pontchartrain. And I said to the pretty Creole girl, my money here's no good. If it weren't for the alligators, I'd sleep out in the wood. Well, you're welcome here, kind stranger, though our house, it's very plain. We never turn a stranger out from the lakes of Pontchartrain. and she took me into her mammy's house and treated me quite well. And the hair upon her shoulders in jet black ringlets fell, and to try and paint her beauty, 'tis sure would be in vain. So handsome was the Creole girl by the lakes of Pontchartrain. Her if she would marry me, she said that it never could be, for she had got another and he was far at sea. She said that she would wait for him, and true she would remain till he returned for his Creole girl by the lakes of Pontchartrain. And it's fare thee well, my Creole girl, I never will see you more. And I always will remember your kindness by the shore, and at each social gathering a flowing glass I will raise, and I'll drink a health to the Creole girl by the lakes of Pontchartrain, and I'll drink a health to the Creole girl by the lakes of Pontchartrain.
Kevin Elam, everyone.
The Lakes of Pontchartrain. Thank you. Thank you so much, folks. So as you probably have gathered by now, we play Irish and Scottish traditional music, both kinds of music. And we do Scottish songs, Irish songs, as well as instrumental tunes from both traditions. And one interesting thing to note is that before about 100 years ago, Irish traditional music was actually played usually only on melody instruments. There really wasn't guitar, there wasn't a lot of piano. It was typically just played one or perhaps two or three people together playing the same melody at the same time. So we're going to give you a little taste of that with a set of Irish traditional tunes, a hornpipe and two reels. Thank you so much, folks. Let's see, what do we got next on the menu? Ah, yes. Jesse's going to play a wonderful slow air for us on the whistle. Tell us about it real quick while I switch this thing.
So as Kevin gets the harmonium set up, we're going to play a set without any bagpipes and no vocals as well, but we both love drones, so we're going to get some type of drone sound coming from this harmonium. This air I'm going to play is called Mrs. Jameson's Favorite. I believe it's a Neil Gow fiddle tune. But when we play it, I just want you to, it's a Scottish tune, I want you to picture the mountains, the Monroes in Scotland, and the rainy weather. It helps the feel of this tune.
All right, thank you so much, folks. We really enjoy doing those two whistle pieces as well. It helps to have a whistle player as great as this guy.
Oh, stop.
Yeah, no, I mean, sometimes when you get two tin whistles together, it doesn't go so great, but.
So this instrument that we were both playing, it is a whistle. I don't know exactly which key it switches to being called a low whistle, but it's essentially it's a penny whistle or a tin whistle, just down an octave. So you can impress all of your friends with that tidbit of knowledge of what a low whistle is.
There you go. Down an octave and up a minor third in that case. Otherwise known as down a major sixth.
Car rides with Kevin are a lot of fun.
All right. We're going to do a Scottish song next. Pardon me. This one's actually another one you can join in and sing along with, but you may not have heard it before, so I'm going to cheat it to you real quick. This song is called the King's Shilling, and it's basically talking about how unfortunate it is that so many young men took money from the crown in order to go off and fight in these wars, and then when they got there and saw their friends falling around them and the din of the battle, they thought maybe it wasn't actually worth it to have taken that money. So it sounds like it's a very traditional song, but it's actually a relatively recent song. It was written in the 1970s. So here's how the chorus goes. Come, laddies, come, hear the cannons roar. Take the king's shilling, and you're off to war. So those words are, come, laddies, come, hear the cannons roar. Take the king's shilling, and you're off to war. So whenever you hear that, feel free to join in and sing along. My love has left me with bairns a twa, and that's the last of him I ever saw. He joined the army and marched awa. He took the shilling, and they're off to war. Come, laddies, come, hear the cannons roar. Take the king's shilling, and you're off to war. Come, laddies, come, hear the cannons roar. Take the king's shilling, and you're off to war. Well, did he look as they marched along, wi' his kilt and sporran and musket gun? The ladies tipped him as they marched along. They sailed out by the Broomielaw, and the pipes did play as they marched along, and the soldiers shouted out a battle song. March on, cried the captain gay. For king and country, we will fight this day. Come, laddies, come, hear the cannons roar. Take the king's shilling, and you're off to war. Come, laddies, come, hear the cannons roar. Take the king's shilling, and you're off to war. And the battle rattled with the sound of guns, and the bayonets flashed in the morning sun. The drums did beat and the cannons roared, and the shilling didn't seem much worth the war. And the men did fight and the men did fall, cut down by bayonet or musket ball. And many of these brave young men would never fight for the king again. Come, laddies, come, hear the cannons roar. Take the king's shilling, and you're off to war. Come, laddies, come, hear the cannons roar. Take the king's shilling, and you're off to war. Hup. Thank you, folks. I heard some lovely singing there. Really appreciate you joining in. And it looks like we're coming to the home stretch here. Not quite the final piece, but we're going to break out the famous Great Highland Pipes.
The moment you've all been waiting for.
The moment you've all been waiting for. Woo! So many of you are probably familiar with this instrument from, if you've ever been to a Highland Games or if you've ever been to parades and things like that. But it's not every day that you get to hear these things played in sort of a concert setting, especially with guitar. And I'll tell you a funny anecdote. Those pipes are in B flat, right? Well, they're in B flat.
Kind of. We try to
We
tune the
try.
pipes.
Now, during sound check, he told me, okay, they're in B flat. Now, sometimes he plays pipes in A, and so we were sound checking, and I just did not register that information, and I just really confidently played a giant A chord right as he's fired up in B flat, and yeah, I'm glad you all weren't here for that.
Avant-garde.
Avant-garde, yeah,
Scottish
that's we'll call it avant-garde. So that's what this little capo here is for.
I need everybody's help for this one. When I start this jig, I want you to clap along.
It's gonna be fast.
Thank you so much.
All right.
I get out of breath with this one.
Yeah, I gotta catch. Give me a couple seconds. Whew, gotta catch my breath here. Caloric exertion there. Whew. Whew, nice job on the tempo change, y'all. Just in
Crushed
case
it.
you're wondering, that change you heard is from a jig to a reel. So the jig is the decadee, decadee, or triplet, triplet. And then the reel is the decadee, 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 decadee. So there you go. Hope you're taking notes on that as well.
We wanted to say thank you to all of you for coming out
Yes, thank you.
and listening to us. We really appreciate it. We also want to thank the Kennedy Center for having us. Allison, the product manager. Yeah, you can clap for the Kennedy Center. Yihui, the
She's our showrunner for this evening.
Showrunner.
Thank you so much, Yihui.
Bob on sound,
Yeah.
making us sound the bagpipes sound in tune. Thank you.
Yep.
It's all that auto tune.
Yeah, he edited out all the wrong notes we played on the fly, so that's crazy good stuff.
Thanks to Steven, Vanessa on lighting, and then I guess most importantly, that's Teresa for booking us.
Yes, thank you so much. And our multimedia crew who are taking video here this evening. Thank you so much, folks.
And I believe it will be available to view over and over again. I'm not sure if that's true. I might have just made that up. Yes, I'm seeing a head nod, yes. So
All right, we're
you can
getting a head
take us
nod.
home with you.
There you go.
Actually, we do have an album in production, which pre-orders are available from our website, which is...
It's actually kevinelamusic.com.
We need to work on that.
/ Jesse Kevin. But better way is just come talk to us afterwards and we'll get you hooked up. Because I don't expect you to memorize that long URL.
But yes, do come say hello to us after the show. We love chatting with everybody. Sign our mailing list. We will be at the Strathmore Arts Center in November.
The mansion at the Strathmore, to be precise, November 7th, I think? Yeah.
I think it's 7th. We both said 7th.
We both said 7th, so that's probably correct.
There's a 50-50 chance that's...
Yeah, there you go. So come on the 7th, and there's a 50% chance that we'll be there.
But we're gonna close out with a set of one of the most classic Scottish tunes into some very modern reels. Thank you again so much. I want to give a shout out to my friend who did my hair tonight. Hosted. I drove down from Connecticut last night. I played in New York City yesterday, and then I drove down last night. So she not only hosted me, she made me look better on stage. So thanks, Rebecca.
There you go. Oh, wait, one more quick thing. Happy birthday to you. This is Lucy. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Lucy. Happy birthday to you. We love you so much. Thanks for choosing to spend this hour with us. All right, here we go. Thank you so much, folks. Appreciate you all being here. Have a wonderful evening. Get home safely.
Thank you for joining us at Millennium Stage. For more information about upcoming shows, please check out the Kennedy Center website or Facebook page. At this time, we ask that you please head to the back of the seating area. Thank you, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your evening at the Kennedy Center.